Ready?
Tim.
Go.
Title of Nurse of Swords.
Phantom, the devil wears Prada.
Pairing Miranda and Andrea.
Warnings, FEMSLASH.
Rating PG.
Summary, Andy has the flu when Miranda plays a nurse, sort of. Andy laid in her full-size bed thinking it was way too small on a day like today. She was covered by a blanket, a comforter, a cashmere quilt Miranda had bought, insisting that she was not going to freeze, not even for Andy's sake. Apart from that, she wore long pajama pants, a long-sleeved thermal shirt, and socks. It wasn't that, it was extremely cold. It was on the beginning of October, and so the city was at the rather nice temperature of 66 degrees. But she had the unfortunate luck of being paired up with Mark, a photographer, to do an interview over the last 2 days. Mark had been sick for over a week, and now Andy had tried her best to stay away from him the whole time, but it hadn't worked the way she planned. She wasn't completely surprised when she woke up coughing with an aching body. Andy had been sent home early by John, who decided she was no use to the paper if she couldn't stop coughing long enough to write a good sentence.
She sneezed into the Kleenex in her hand and snuggled deep into the middle of the bed. Andy looked at her alarm clock. 7. She had been home for 3 hours every minute, which had been horrible. Andy pulled the cashmere quilt tighter to her body. At least it worked. She had been busy enough to forget about the way her back was aching. Now she had nothing to do but stare at the ceiling. She could entertain herself watching TV, but she wasn't about to walk out to her living room and lay on a way too short couch. Andy closed her eyes, trying to force herself to fall asleep. Sometime later, Andy woke to the feel of other cold, delicate hands smoothing the hair from her forehead. Hi.
Hello, are you feeling any better? Andy remembers then she had texted Miranda sometime during the afternoon, apprising her of the situation.
Andy only shook her head and watched Miranda give a slight nod before she moved away to the side table. Andy tried to see what Miranda was after, but her head hurt too much to move to the necessary angle. She waited until Miranda came back into view carrying several small bags. What did you bring?
Miranda randomly pulled things out of the bags. Well, there's some NyQuil, Tylenol, Theraflu.
Andy felt herself smile a little. Leave it to Miranda to go for overkill. Miranda, you know you're not supposed to take all that stuff at once, right?
Miranda stopped her hands. Well, obviously, Andrea, I didn't know you preferred medicine, so I had Emily buy you a sufficient variety.
Andy smiled with a toothy one this time. It was the first time either of them had gotten sick since they got together. Andy was sort of glad it was her. She could assess what Miranda might expect when she gets sick by how she dealt with this situation. It was a good learning experience for them as a couple.
Miranda's hands dug through the first bag again. And of course, Dayquil, you have to work tomorrow after all.
Andy nodded, reaching out to the various medicines Miranda had dropped on the mattress. Andy looked up what's in the other bag.
Miranda gave her an "oh, that" look and reached for it. Out of the small bag came a container of what looked like soup.
You brought me soup? Chicken soup? Andy asked, not being able to hide the outrageously teasing tone in her voice.
Miranda rolled her eyes with a "don't be stupid" look. It's not like I made it, Andrea. I didn't even buy it. Emily did.
Andy laughed hard and started shaking as the laugh turned into a fit of coughing. Miranda looked startled, but Andy waved her off as a sign she was okay. Andy's cough stopped as she smiled at Miranda. Oh, don't be so modest, Miranda. You did send her out to buy it. Andy was delighted to see Miranda's cheeks go a nice pink. If there was one thing that could make Miranda Priestley uncomfortable was when someone acknowledged her rare acts of kindness. It had been one of the most delightful discoveries Andy had made so far.
Oh, just move over, will you? Andy moved her aching body slowly towards the other side of the bed so Miranda could lie down next to her.
Miranda handed Andy the soup and spoon. She watched as Andy ate, only interrupting the silence with some remark about her workday. Some new evidence of Amber's incompetence, not to mention the new first assistant, whose name Miranda had yet to learn, though the girl had been there 7 months. Once Andy finished, she moved to snuggle up to Miranda's welcoming body, only to be stopped by a hot stab of pain in her back. The body ache was the worst part of the flu by far.
Miranda looked at her slightly alarmed. What's wrong?
Andy shook her head and chewed on her lip for a while. My back.
Miranda's alarmed look faded and was replaced by sympathy. Here. She motioned, pulling Andy closer, then moving her hand underneath Andy's shirt, moving it up and down her spine in a soothing pattern.
Andy moaned in appreciation. Miranda had magical hands. You'd make a great nurse.
Andy opened her eyes when Miranda's hand stopped. There was an incredulous look on Miranda's face. A nurse? Really, Andrea? Can you imagine me in one of those ridiculous outfits?
Andy laughed at the obvious dislike Miranda had for the said outfits. Oh, I don't know, Miranda. I think you'd look pretty sexy in them.
Shut up, Miranda said sternly. Andy didn't pay it any heed since there was a brilliant smile playing on Miranda's lips. Miranda swat Andy's arm playfully and kissed her on the forehead. Andy only snuggled deeper into Miranda's warmth. It was the best medicine she could ask for. I have magical hands.
Hello, yeah.
Magical hands. Did you see that? Your line was huge.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Who's reading the top part? Like, who?
The first, paragraph. You read the rating, I read the summary.
Oh, God.
God damn.
What's that, damn it? Where am I again? I lost where. No. Why is this not making sense? Okay, take 4. Am I supposed to read that?
No.
Fine, I won't read it then.
Fine. Go ahead. Hello. Oh, God.
What's the... It's a funny.
Oh, that's attractive. That's very attractive.
What? Why are we saying the same thing?
I don't know. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Come on.
I'm going to read it.
Great.
Yes, sir. Hold your horse. Nah, say to everyone.
Hold your horses.
Yeah, come on. I can't concentrate. Yeah, I know that. I'm just going to read it. It's going to freaking bug me. I already saw them. Like, no, we're just going to read it appropriately. What? Now, fine then. I'll find that bloody other one you looked at last time.
I don't want to have that dream again.
Oh my God.
Oh, just move. God, I need to stop that. Oh, just move over, will you?
Oh, stop it.
You're in the background snickering. It's like, I can't give you the lessons. Miranda's. Miranda's. A typo, yes.
Nah.
Yes. Shut up, Miranda said sternly. She's got it punch you and didn't pay it any. You could tell.
Wow, sorry.
What?
It's very appropriate.
Here we go. Shut up, Miranda said sternly. What?
Fine, I'm going to be quiet now. Stay alive.
What's so wrong with how I'm saying it? Are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Hello?
Goodbye.